McConnell Air Force Base has been chosen as the preferred location for the new KC-46A tankers. But before that decision becomes final, the United States Air Force wants to hear from you during a public hearing on November 12th. We have two guests here with us today to explain why it's so important that the community attends this hearing. We have Jack Pulley, who is seated next to me, who is the president of the Friends of McConnell. And down at the end, we have Mr. Wayne Roberts, who is the chair of the Chamber Tanker Task Force and the Joint Military Affairs Committee. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Could you first just start off by giving us a bit of an update as to how we got to this point and exactly where we're at right now?
Well, in the spring of this year, they had a scoping meeting of the four bases across the U.S. that were finalists. And they explained what the impact of this was going to be as far as number of hangars, number of planes. The general public could come in and ask questions and so forth, and we had over 300 people in attendance for that scoping meeting. That's a great turnout.
And what are you hoping for this next public hearing?
It was a great turnout, and we need that many or more in this phase also, because it's critical that the Air Force realizes that the community is backing McConnell Air Force Base, as we have over 50 years or so. But right now it's really critical because of the new mission, and the new mission will not be finalized until the environmental study is published with the Federal Register. So it's important that another 300 or more people come out and talk to the Air Force, because they will have a chance to talk. So,
yeah, the first meeting we had no negative comments. We don't anticipate any problems, but we really do need a strong show of community support, because McConnell is a major economic impact for this area, $619 million into the economy, and this new 46A bed down is about $219 million in infrastructure of hangars and aprons and so forth. So it's jobs and money that's going to come into our community.
Tremendous economic impact, and it would be absolutely devastating if we lost that due to a lack of community support or for whatever reason.
Correct.
Will you explain a little bit more about the format for the public hearing and what people should do to prepare? I understand they can also do written comments.
Right. You can. There's no RSVPs. You can just show up for the hearing. You can speak about 3 to 5 minutes. You can either do written or oral submissions, which could be made even after the hearing itself. But I think we're having a lot of elected officials come and speak in support of the 46 bed down, and the general public is certainly welcome to talk about what it means to them and the economic impact and how they support the mission of McConnell.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the written comments? Any limitations on that?
No, written comments are accepted as well, and they will review those. It's interesting to know they listen to everything and read everything that everybody presents, and that is how they base their study. And like I say, it's real important that we get a huge crowd again.
Now, this is a very exhaustive process. This is a copy of the environmental impact study, which gives you an idea of the information they gather, noise, water, everything. I mean, it's a pretty detailed examination of all 4 sites.
That's a huge document.
Huge.
Will you explain when the public hearing is, where people should go?
It's going to be on November 12th at the Hughes Metroplex on 29th Street. The hearings will be 5:30 to 8 o'clock. So just you can come and go as you like. You don't have to stay for the whole hearing, but just please come.
And I'd like to have you guys talk a little bit about how competitive this process has been.
No, it's been extremely competitive. Once they determined who the finalists were, just like we did, the people went to Washington, D.C. to lobby in the Pentagon, and they went to Air Mobility Command, who is what McConnell is part of, is Air Mobility Command. And they went in large numbers. We think probably one of the reasons that we might have done a little better is because we went in smaller numbers and offered more insight as to how we felt about our community and Air Force relationship.
I think the Chamber Task Force, which was an initiative the Chamber started to pull together all the interested parties, which include the Governor's Military Council, the city, the county, the state, WIBA, the Chamber, and other parties, to really pool our resources together and come together with a strategy to present to sell our community. And we did do a trip up to the Pentagon earlier last year, and then one down to AMC, the Air Mobility Command at Scott Air Force Base, to plead our case. And I think we have such a great story to tell. I mean, it makes it easy to sell something when you have a good product, and we have a good product. This base, McConnell Air Force Base, has won more awards than all the other 18 AMC bases combined. So it makes sense that you would put the best planes where you've got the best people and the best performance.
Absolutely.
And Wayne and I had lunch with the leadership at the base yesterday, and which we do on periodically. And they still are talking about the accolades that they receive in Afghanistan and places like that from the Army people and from all other sources. So we have the great people at McConnell Air Force Base. Therefore, like Wayne said, we continue to win award after award after award.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Jack, you may want to allude to the importance of Friends of McConnell in this whole effort to get the 46 bed down. It's been an organization that goes back to the 60s, but
Yep.
it again shows the community support of the base.
And what we are as Friends of McConnell is an organization that pays annual dues. You don't have to be involved. You can just give us your money, and we have an executive committee that communicates with the leadership at the base and makes determinations as to what they need, things that they don't have appropriation money for. And we try to assist in that area. We do some really neat things too. Like upcoming is a program, just real quick, called Holiday Surprise. And what we do is we fund the enlisted spouses. And what they do is when they go to the commissary and they see people that are 1-stripers, 2-stripers, 3-stripers, and they check out, we will pay for their groceries at Christmas time. So we do a lot of little things like that. So that's what Friends of McConnell is, and we always need more community support, more people that want to be part of our organization.
And we hear time and time again from people who pass through the base that they have never been to a community that supported the base like we do. I mean, Derby, Wichita, Friends of McConnell.
We're there.
Yeah.
All the time.
They need something, we're there.
And I'm sure that's one of many factors that makes McConnell so attractive to the Air Force.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know our central location is another one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also proud of our refueling unit that's there.
Right, we've got about 63 planes at the station at McConnell right now, the KC-135s. In reality, it's about 48 planes that are actively there, realizing these planes were built back in the 60s, and a lot of people don't realize the planes still have wooden floors in them. So we're dealing with planes that are pretty old.
Yep.
So we keep about 48 actively, and the rest of them in depot being worked on, but it's the largest tanker base in the world.
And the eventual gain in tankers will probably not be a game. We will end up with 36 of the KC-46As as it's structured now. But we need to understand that these people are going to have to work extra hard for the next couple, 3 years, because their mission that they do now with the tanker that they have, the 135, will continue while they are getting ready to bed down the new tanker. And, obviously we don't know all the internal makings, but they will. They'll continue to do the same thing they do right now every day. So.
But those new planes will not fit in the existing hangars. So it has to be all new hangars, and just finished with a $60 million runway out there. Back to the economic impact, the site approval for a VA hospital and a control tower is also on the book. So there's a lot of very positive things going on. Even in a down economy, you've got economic stimulus from McConnell is pretty strong. It really helps the community a lot.
It's tremendous. Would you talk a little bit about why it's so important that we win this first round?
Well, it's important because we will be the I don't know, the figure that everybody builds around. From now on, when someone else gets the tanker, they'll be looking to McConnell to understand how the transfer from one plane to another exists. So
Well, I think the fact that we're the largest tanker base now, we won all these awards. As Jack said, we'll kind of be the model. For the ones to follow. There'll be other bases that get tankers, but we'll continue to have the KC-135s, and as the 36 new 46As come on, they'll retire 36 KC-135s. And they may not necessarily be at McConnell. They'll go through the inventory and see which ones are the oldest and need to be retired. But that's kind of how the process works.
Like Wayne alluded to, when you have the best troops, why not have the best planes? Mm-hmm. And that's how we feel about McConnell and the people at McConnell, because they are the best. We have the best.
And doesn't it really position us well, you know, with the budget cuts at the federal level and, you know, depending on how that plays out, at least we'll have the infrastructure in place where if other bases aren't able to do it, we'll be set up and ready to go to take advantage of those deals possibly. Is that correct?
Yes, if you look at the possibility of another, what they call BRAC, which is base realignment and closure, it will put us in a favorable position because we have just spent all the money on the infrastructure, and we do already have the planes and the people that know how to fly and mechanic the planes. And so, yeah, it's a great advantage for us.
It's almost BRAC insurance.
I like that.
If there is such a thing, it's BRAC insurance.
Because you'll have the new runway, $60 million, all, the new hangars, which would be 6 new hangars, and new aprons. It would be possible but unlikely that they would pick that base to shut down.
And we will have an abundance of really senior leaders from AMC and the Pentagon coming to view and observe and whatnot the first installation. So there's so many pluses, it's hard to name them. But right now, the key, we think, is next Tuesday from 5:30 to 8 is having the community step up and help us out in ensuring that the Air Force understands the relationship that we have and the relationship we want to keep.
And it's a huge trickle-down effect of the economic impact, you know, of the base. I mean, it goes to the hotels where people come for training, to the restaurants, to everything. So, I mean, people can come to the hearing and talk about what it means to them. And they may be a small supplier to somebody that supplies something at the base, but still, it's for small businesses particularly, it could be a big impact.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a great turnout. Will you guys talk a little bit now about what will happen after your public hearing? How will this play out?
I think after the public hearing is pretty much out of our hands.
We're done.
They go back and reevaluate all of this information, what they heard at the 4 meetings, and do their report, and then it'll be published in the Federal Register about May of next year, and it's not really final until then.
But we are planning, or I say we, McConnell is planning now. I mean, because they are the preferred base at this point in time, they have to start getting ready. They have to have their engineers planning to tear down and to rebuild the hangar so that the new plane will fit, even though nothing has actually started or happened other than the preparation and planning. And they're in that mode right now. So.
They can't start construction until it's published, but they can do a lot of prep work, as Jack said, to get ready for it. Because once they get the green light, I mean, this thing has to move pretty quickly.
It's got to be bang, bang, bang.
The plane's coming in at 16.
Boeing's going to want to deliver those planes, and they claim to be on target also. So,
great, got to be ready.
Got to be ready.
Is there anything else you guys want to add before we go?
I can't think of anything.
Can't either, other than, again, a plea to the public to step up and come out next Tuesday from 5:30 to 8. And even if you don't want to say anything, just your mere presence is very important.
Yeah, you don't have to stay for the whole thing.
No.
They'll have a sign-up sheet, and that happened last time. People would go and come.
Come and go.
Some spend an hour, some stay for the whole thing. But it makes a good list of the people who've come there, and they look at how many people showed up.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. It's been really interesting to learn more about the process and all the great work you guys have done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this show. We'll leave you with the information about the public hearing.